graze the sheep and the cattle together because they have different grazing habits, and you can get more complete forage utilization on a piece of land with the more different kinds of livestock that you have on it. And I guess my wildlife background tells me that, because the most productive grazing land in the whole world is the Serengeti Plain in Africa, where there's 20 or 30 different species all grazing together. And you probably should have, I've got two, but that's better than one, but you probably should have, 6 or 8 if you want to be diverse.
Complex systems are less likely to crash. And I think, their long-term survivability are kind of more likely to be guaranteed by the complexity of our operation, if we can manage it. I mean, that's the challenge of where we find ourselves, is keeping a lot of balls in the air and doing a reasonably good job at everything that we're attempting to do. But certainly, we know that last year, because of the drought, we had just a disastrous potato crop. But all the rest of the warm season crops, the tomatoes and the peppers and the eggplants and the melons and the sweet corn, they all did great. We just had huge crops of all those things because we do irrigate. We've had to compromise a lot. When you focus on one or two crops, you can really get it down, and you can get your production per acre up there as high as possible. And so, with as many crops as we're growing, we're having to compromise between what's optimal for peas, which is optimal for carrots, And so we've developed a system that, pretty much works for all these things based on the machinery that we have and the machinery that we've acquired. And so we're not at optimal production for probably most of these crops. But because we're selling at a retail market, we don't have to. We don't have to optimize the
Gives
production.
us a margin.
Yeah.
Well, I'm marketing for 8 farms in Aroostook County that are growing organically. After I got through my first season, it was very obvious to me how large the market was, and that if I simply sold my own and went away, that we were going to lose a certain amount of ground and inroads that we'd achieved establishing accounts. And so I started selling for other farmers as long as certain quality standards were met. Primarily it's a face-to-face, it's a handshake business to get started with people. Like anything else, if they can get to know you and have confidence in what you do, then they're willing to give you a shot, and if you take care of the business the right way, they'll do business with you again.
Hot cider, samples of apples. If someone walks in and I've got 30 varieties of apples, it confuses folks. So we give away a lot of apples. I encourage people to try them. I don't want someone taking something home saying, oh, that was not what I wanted.